After reaching the 40s the past couple of days, it might be hard to believe we're dealing with maybe our first significant snowfall the calendar year here in 2021. Winter storm watch in place from Thursday morning until Friday evening for all areas here in blue. That includes most of southeast Minnesota minus Houston County, which will be on our winter weather advisory during that time. In purple, winter weather advisory through Osage, Charles City, Cresco, Decorah. We have the winter storm watch for Rochester, Owatonna, Albert Lea, Austin, into Mason City. So we'll deal with some significant snowfall potentially on the way as we look at your winter weather impacts. Looking at a high impact scale, anywhere from a 6 to or right around an 8 for impacts, especially for travel coming up into Thursday morning, potentially Thursday afternoon, and extending into Friday. So we look at the chance early Thursday morning, rain, sleet, and then eventually changing over to some snow later on Thursday morning into Thursday afternoon. When we change over to snow, we'll be close to around 32 degrees. So we're looking at a wet, heavy snow possible with 4+ inches of snowfall all across the KTTC viewing area. Outside, currently partly cloudy skies on our future track radar. Our system lingers to the west here. Strong low pressure system will move across the Dakotas and eventually into Minnesota, impacting Wisconsin as well. The track of the low pressure system is very key with this system because eventually the low will stall out over the upper Midwest and we'll be back behind the low. And depending on where that is, where exact the low pressure system will be at will depend on where some of our heavy snow bands will be. Now, early tomorrow morning will be maybe the worst type of conditions on the roadways because we'll be dealing with maybe some rainfall early in the morning, 5, 6 o'clock, deal with some rain, and then we'll slowly change that over by about 8, 9 o'clock in the morning to a little bit of a wintry mix. So we deal with the chance for maybe some freezing rain and even some sleet accumulations under 1/10 of an inch, but then all of a sudden we get a little bit of a coating of ice on the ground, and then we switch over to some heavy snowfall through the afternoon. Expect quite a bit of snow to fall coming up Thursday early afternoon. We might work in a chance for some dry air to give us some leeway Thursday evening into early Friday morning. So let's track this out in future track here. Strong southerly winds tonight. We keep our temperatures close to freezing. Most of the precipitation by midnight remaining well off to the west of I-35. We move through the morning here by about 5 o'clock in the morning. I think we could see the chance for a wintry mix through stretching from about Minneapolis all the way down towards Waterloo by about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. As we move towards about 8, I think most of the wintry mix by that point in time through Red Wing into Wabasha, Winona, La Crosse. So that's where we would be dealing with the sleet, a little bit of a rain snow mix, which farther off to the west, we start to change over to some snowfall through the Highway 52 I-35 corridor. Continue to move through the afternoon. I think this is when we start to work in the chance for a little bit of dry air by about 8, 9 o'clock. Notice where Future Track has the center of the low pressure system, right along the Mississippi River Valley across La Crosse and into Winona and Wabasha. That puts the heavy snowfall band, and we can even see it here in dark blue, right along I-94 through the cities, and then eventually for Albert Lea, Owatonna, and Mankato. Notice the darker blues. That's where we're pulling in the moisture back behind the low pressure system, so heavier totals just off to the west of Highway 52. We continue to move through the afternoon on Friday into Friday evening, still dealing with some light snowfall by about 5 o'clock. As we look at percentages, our probability here of looking at least 4 inches of snowfall on the ground. Most areas along and to the north and northwest of I-90 look at anywhere from about a 75 to 85% chance at seeing at least 4 inches of snowfall on the ground. The farther south and southeast we get of I-90, that's where your totals will lower as we move through the day on Friday. So snowfall totals, specifically speaking, Rochester, I think we could see anywhere from 5 to 9 inches of snowfall for most areas here in purple. Again, lighter totals farther and farther to the south, southeast. The reason why we have a wide range, 4 inches is a wide range for snowfall totals from 5 to 9. That's because of the track of the low pressure system. If it just moves slightly east or west, it could limit our totals or potentially bump them up a little bit. So that's why we have a little bit of a leeway there with 5 to 9 inches. Dry air could potentially still impact the forecast, especially Thursday night. So by 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we might not even be seeing snowfall by that point in time. Outside currently 36 degrees here in Rochester, so temperatures still a little bit above freezing. We're at 32 for the overnight low tonight, some slick spots. Expect them tomorrow morning, 34 for the high tomorrow, that wintry mix in the morning, and then dealing with some moderate to heavy snowfall during the early afternoon. Snow lingers into Friday, and then we should be quiet this weekend. Guys.
Thanks, Nick. Up next in sports, a big